I did that robbery. I made $150,000 myself. I said, F this, man. I want to make some more money. And I ended up becoming the biggest jewel robber in the United States.
Hey everybody, welcome. Today we have a very special guest. I am actually sitting with the man, the myth, the legend, Larry Lawton. So Larry, you are a jewel thief, a convict, an author, a cigar aficionado, a YouTube legend, a fellow Floridian. Did I miss anything here, buddy?
Not a thing, I think.
Excellent, my man. Thank you for taking the time to sit with me today. I know that you are like the #1 most requested person on my channel for me to get on here and actually sit down and talk to.
You know, JD, thank you very much. You know, we connected, and you're a convict, I'm a convict, and that means a lot to me. You know that. And I'm happy to be here. I love to talk to guys who've been through some shit. We all have gone through some shit. And when you go through some stuff like we have, and you rebound and you don't quit, you know, it's so easy to quit and either go back into the bad life or, you know, quit when things go tough. Now, I don't care who you are. Things go bad. I often tell people, I'm going to give you a shot. But, you know, it's easy to keep the nose to the grind when things are going great. Keeping your nose clean and your nose to the grind when things go bad is when it shows character, not when it's going good. Because if I give anybody money, they're going to be great and everything. But, well, take the money away. Let you make a hustle. Let you do it the right way. Let you do the... And don't get me wrong. Listen, I'm no role model by anybody's stretch of the imagination. I enjoy life. I enjoy people. I enjoy the hustle. I enjoy the grind when I see people grind like I do. And you guys are great, you and Ian and guys I've connected with. And listen, having fun is part of it. We happen to be freaking literally an hour and a half away. So I look forward, and you're going to tell right here on your show, you will come on my show, correct?
I will absolutely come on your show anytime, Larry. I am all about it.
Good. Well, you're going to come on my show real quick. We're going to do some content. We're going to have fun. Take you for the best roast beef sandwich in Central Florida. And we're going to have a lot of fun down there.
I keep getting this promise of this roast beef sandwich, and I got to tell you, I'm already salivating. It's already all wet up in here. It's crazy. So, Larry, let me ask you a few questions, man. Were you in the mob?
Yes, I was associated with the mob. You say in the mob. In the mob, some people might think, were you a made man? No, I couldn't be made. But yes, I was associated with the Gambino crime family. I had to be associated with the Gambino crime family because when you were robbing as much as I robbed 15 to 18, maybe 20 million, and probably even more than that. If I wasn't associated with somebody, some other people would have found me, other families. I was associated with Gambino, so you had the Genoveses, the Colombos, you know, all of the different families, the Lucchese family. And what would have happened if they would have took me, and they would have took me, and trust me, they would have took me, and they would have tortured me, and they would have got whatever they wanted. And I often tell people, because sadly I don't like to admit it, I did that. I mean, I tortured somebody, and trust me, there's nobody can withstand that. I don't give a f who you are, how tough you think you are. If I have you in a chair and your pants are around your ankles and you're naked and you're tied to a chair and I have an iron in front of me, you're going to give me the what you want. You know, that old tough guy says, I'll never. No, yes, you will. Trust me. I've been there. And now don't let me get out and catch you, because then if I do, then it's a different animal. But I don't like, you know, I'm a regular guy, and being associated with the mob was something I had to do. I'm not so, you know, listen, and I learned a lot from those old timers. I was with some of the old timers. I was in Castellano's house, he lived on Staten Island, in fact. He lived in Toad Hill. And I went there with somebody just as a grunt, you know, if you want to call it that. I was a big guy. Not as big as you, JD. You're a big monster. But I was a pretty big guy, you know what I mean? And I was a fighter. And I liked to fight. That was my problem. And so I used to do the card games, and I used to muscle for people. And you know, I look back at my life, JD, and I look at, wow, how far I've come from living in that life to being a YouTuber and being a person who tries to help people every day. You know, I have the #1 program in the country helping young people like you do. You help people. It doesn't mean we don't have fun. It means we still want to help people no matter what We do.
Absolutely. So, okay, you were a part of the mob. How do you get there? How do you get involved with the mob?
You know, it's funny. I got in a mob when I was young. I grew up in a mob neighborhood in the Bronx, and I actually was doing football tickets. Football tickets is like a gambling game, and I used to do them. I was 12 years old, making $125 a week, and I was associated with the mob because the guy who was involved with it was a mobster, and his son, who was at the time. Matter of fact, I spoke to his son not long ago. Matter of fact, Nick and I, my assistant, were in Maryland. And I went on one of the biggest shows in Maryland. It's the Bulldog show. It's called Rude Awakening with Bulldog. And he's been around for 30 years. A radio guy, I know him, the biggest show in Ocean City, Maryland. So I go on his show, and I know him for a long time, been on his show a lot. And Nick was with me, and we were talking, and I ended up getting a phone call. One of my friends there, old timer, you know, wise guy kind of guy, he goes, Larry, Louis Como. Louis Como was the dude I worked for. His dad was a big shot and whatever. And Louis called. We had a phone call. I had a phone call. Louis goes, I know, Larry, I'm so proud of you. You know what you're doing today? He goes, I guess I got to take credit for bringing you into the mob. He actually said that. Louis is a great guy, and I spoke to Louis, and that was nice. Listen, I grew up in a very tight-knit neighborhood in the Bronx. And then even when I went over to Brooklyn, I had a lot of connections. So I worked for a Jewish guy named Mac. Mac was the biggest bookie in all New York. He used to take the layoff action. And Mac knew his shit, man. I learned a lot of the criminal bookmaking life from a guy named Mac. And, you know, I was a big listener, JD. And I also will change my mind. You know, I often tell people, you or me, or if you debate me on a topic, whatever it is, JD, and you change my mind, I'll change. You know, I'm not hard-headed. I'll change, whether it's from politics to drugs to whatever. I will change. I'm not stupid where I'm just gonna quit. You know, I mean, oh, it's my way or the highway. No, you know, 90% of these kids we deal with, and you deal with them as well. They're smart, man. The only thing we have over them, JD, is we've been to a place they don't want to go. You and I have been to a place that sucked. No matter what level you're at, no matter where you've been, and I've been in the maxes and all that shit, you don't want to go there. They're telling you what to do, when to get up, when to shit, and when to eat, pretty much. Who likes that? I've never met a person who got out of prison and says, you know, that was pretty good, I'm going back. Never. I hear him say, can kill a cop before I go back, or I'll kill somebody, I'll do something. And I get that. And now myself, I'm just not going to do anything to ruin my life now.
Absolutely. So being somebody who has had those hard consequences, who has been to the gutter, who's been through all of that, do you feel a responsibility now that you've come out the other side and you have such a clearly blessed life to pass that on? Is that why you do the work that you do today?
You know, that's a great question, JD. Nobody's really asked me that kind of question. I don't know if I feel an obligation to do anything. I want to do it, you know. Obligation, no, because I am no role model. Please, anybody out there, don't ever think Larry Lawton's your role model, because I'm a fuck up, and I'm the first to admit it. I enjoy things. I enjoy life. But I do want to help people. So, you know, I saw so many, you know, a lot of people go to prison, and when they get out, you know, what do they want to do? I'll tell you something what happened to me, JD. I saw so many young people come to prison, and they think they're a badass. And fuck, we know they're not. You know, you see them come to prison, they were badass on the street. Well, now you come see me. It's a different fucking ball game in here, number one. And, you know, you could be in this little street gang shit, and you're going to get gobbled up like you're a fucking, like an M&M in a fucking big bowl. You're nothing. So now come see me. And I've seen too many young people come to prison, and their lives were over. They either got manipulated into sex or raped. And I watched a kid get raped and his anus cut from the top of his anus till his scrotum. And I tell you what, I remember those screams to this day. So I've seen some horrific shit, and I don't want people to go through that. You know, listen, I get it. You want to be a tough guy. You want to be this. Listen, step back a second. You're going to get older. You're going to realize when you're our age. How we were talking about in a car, you and I. You ever been in a fight? Yeah. You ever lose a fight? Yeah. Because if you haven't lost a fight, you haven't fought the right fucking guy. I mean, I don't give a fuck who you are. And I was a fighter. I loved to fight. I remember I was in Dade County Jail during Hurricane Andrew. I get arrested off a cruise ship. I fought this dude. I ended up going into a there was a 16-man pod in Dade County Jail. Tough. Right after Hurricane Andrew. No power, nothing. JD, I walk up. There's 32 guys in a 16-man pod. Now, I'll never forget this. There's the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was on. I said, okay. I walk up to the TV, and I turn the fucking channel. I said to myself, the first man who opens his mouth, I'm hitting him. Well, they have a house man, they call it in the county jail. You know what that is, a house man. So I fucking go up to the channel, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. I'll never forget, I turn the channel. Some guy gets up off the fucking, you know, the stainless steel bench, you know, like table bench. I hit him. He doesn't go down. And I can hit like a tank. Oh, we get to fighting, man. JD, my hand was broke. I couldn't talk. My fucking throat. He hit me. Bloodied up. Fucking guards come in. They take me out. Fuck. The next day, they throw me back in the same pod. He looks at me. I look at him. He knew what I did. It was a respect thing. And he ended up throwing a dude off a bunk and giving me the bunk. But we had like a respect. It's just something, you know, you have to do. And I don't want people to go through that. I really don't. It's, you know as well as I do, JD, that life is not a great life to live. It's not. We can have fun with it. We can tell stories about it. And we do. But it's something I don't want to live. I don't want to die in there. Now, don't get me wrong. There's certain things I will go back for. You know, somebody hurt my mother, or somebody hurt somebody I love, something like that. I'm 61. Fuck it. I'll whack the motherfucker real quick. I shouldn't say that on you know what I mean? So that's how I look at life.
So I want to jump back real quick because that was amazing, but I do want to make a connection. So you are Larry Lawton, the jewel thief. How did you get from running football cards and that type of low-level stuff to the high-level jewel thieving? You
know, JD, great question, but jewel thief is not true. It's jewel robber.
Okay.
Jewel thief is someone who like sneaks in at night and gets something. I was a jewel robber. I went in with a gun and took over the whole fucking place and tied everybody up. Not proud of it, but that's just what I did. Now, how did I get there? Yeah, I was doing the card games, muscling things, running football tickets, doing all that. And my first robbery was a setup. It was an actual setup. A guy wanted insurance taken. So when he wanted the insurance taken, the mob guys called me and said, Larry, we got something for you. This guy wants it. Here's the deal. You know, he wants the insurance money. You can keep the jewels. When the people that are going to be there, I knew everything. When the mail came, how many employees were going to be in there, where the good stuff was. So I knew all of that. So my first robbery was really kind of like given to me on a paper, on a silver platter. I did that robbery. I made $150,000 myself. I said, "Fuck this, man! I want to make some more money." And I ended up becoming the biggest jewel robber in the United States. Still to this day, I'm known as the biggest jewel robber ever in the United States.
So is that what you went to prison for?
Yeah, I went there for racketeering, which is under the RICO Act. Which is the way they got guys who were connected. They try to get me to talk in so many fucking ways. I remember I was with the FBI and they showed me a picture of my mob boss. And do you know him? I don't know him. Next picture, 8x10 glossy, is me standing in front of the bar club that we hung at with him. Oh, I just go to that club. I live around there. Oh, the next picture, 8x10 glossy, is me in his Jaguar. I remember where we were going. And I said, oh, he just dropped me off at the train station. And the FBI looked at me. And Matt Mullen, I'll never forget him. I go, it's not me, Matt. And he goes, I get it. And he had a lot of respect for me. And I think he really, listen, when it comes down to it, I think he knew I was lying and bullshitting about having a fucking BB gun. That was my fucking thing. That's how I beat a life sentence. I was facing life. I was never getting out. Ever getting out. And I think he knew, but he didn't push it. He knew the robberies were going to stop. He knew everything was gone. I do get convicted 6 years in. I'm in prison 6 years. And I get another indictment. It's called 18 U.S.C. 1001. The same charge Bill Clinton got, filing a false statement. Because I said my partner was John Rodriguez. Well, there's no such thing as a John Rodriguez. I cost the government about $1 million. They came to trial and said I'd cost them $1 million. It's just something that, I didn't give a fuck either at that point. I was already in prison 6 years. I got another fucking 6 left. And I didn't care. And they ended up giving me 12 more months, run concurrent. I look at my charges when I looked at you can look on yourself on like these special apps like Been Verified and all that. My record is so fucking long. I didn't even know how long. I forgot half the shit I did.
Mine too. I looked myself up the other day and I'm like, I am a monster. Yeah. Who is this person?
Exactly.
So let me ask you, you got hemmed up on RICO. How many people were involved in that RICO case?
None. I'm the only man ever to go to prison on a RICO Act alone.
Explain that to me, man, because I know that the federal government does some crazy wild stuff, but RICO is an organized crime act.
RICO is 2 or more people conspiring to commit a felon. Now, to further an organization. That's exactly what the RICO is. Now, as a man who did the law for fucking 10 years, the RICO Act was made really to get mob bosses who weren't connected, and they made it down the line a little bit. In my case, they used the RICO Act because I interfered with interstate commerce. See, under the RICO Act, interfering with interstate commerce, which is like, what people don't know, if you rob a McDonald's, you think, oh, that can't be a federal charge. It's a fucking store. I'm robbing a McDonald's. If the federal government wants to make it RICO, they can. You know why? Because McDonald's buys its potatoes from Idaho. So being you're robbing that store, you're interfering with interstate commerce. If they want to get you, they can. Well, in my case, being I fucking interfered with interstate commerce so many times in so many cases, I was the biggest robber from up and down the East Coast. They ended up getting me for Connecticut, Maryland, Georgia, Florida, one other state, I forget already. And they RICO'd them. They bring them all together, and they what they call Rule 20 them. And they Rule 20 means they take all the federal cases and bring them to one federal district. I was actually indicted and convicted in 4 federal districts, which is like unheard of. In most prisons I was in, I was the most federal districts I was indicted in and convicted in. So, I mean, it's when the feds want to do it. But the way they did me for RICO, like you said, you have to have more one. They thought my partner was John Rodriguez. Well, there was no John Rodriguez. He was a fucking phantom. He ended up being my brother, but my brother goes to prison 6 years after I do because his wife told on him. Wife. Yeah, how fucked up is that?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, they can't legally compel her to testify.
Compel her. She did it on purpose.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Absolutely. I don't know where she is now, but
it's probably a good thing.
Yeah, let's just leave it at that.
So it sounds like you got 10 years, and then
I got 4 12-year sentences.
You got 4 12-year sentences. Were they run concurrent?
Concurrent, yeah.
Okay.
See, they weren't consecutive. If they were going to run them consecutive, I was going to trial in 4 different federal districts. I was convicted in the Eastern District of Pennsylvania, Middle District of Florida, District of Georgia, which is Marietta and Savannah, and Maryland. 4 different federal districts. I had convictions in all 4 of those federal districts. So, and then they ran them concurrent. Now, if they would have ran them consecutive, fuck you, because I beat a life sentence, JD. I was getting life, but I beat a 924C. It's called the gun charge, and I beat the gun charge. If I don't beat that gun charge, I'm never getting out of prison. I'm not sitting here right now. I'm not Larry Lawton YouTube, Larry Lawton bestselling author, Larry Lawton. I'm nothing. I'm fucking a convict right now, fucking some fucking queen that's on fucking A2. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, but I'm not here.
So did they send you to a max facility? Did they send you to a medium? Where'd you do your time the majority?
I did most of my time in maximum security prisons. I was in the worst prison they had at the time. I was in USP Atlanta. At the time I was in Atlanta, they had a murder a month for 18 months. A murder a month for 18 months. It was fucking a zoo. I mean, they even brought in a warden named Willie Scott. He was a troubleshooting warden, they call him. Now, he had what they call power over the region. Like in the federal government, they have regions. Well, he bypassed region. When he wanted to transfer somebody, fucking just transfer him. I remember one time we were in the cell, and all of a sudden you hear a bunch of commotion. They come on to the tier, they transfer 100 guys. Literally, 100 guys that minute are on a bus, out of that prison. And you know what happens when they transfer you? You lose everything. Your fucking bowls, this, clothes, fucking legal work. They don't give a fuck. You know, it's funny, JD. I didn't know who Warden Scott was. And I was in the unit, and so I'm new. A couple of the white guys I'm hanging out with, you know, the mobsters. I was hooked up with Vic Arena and a bunch of guys. So one of them guys goes, yeah, Larry, there's a new warden. Why don't you tell the warden how, you know, the food sucks here? Because you came from Lewisburg, the food was a little bit better or whatever. I fall for the stupid shit. You know how it is in prison, that where all the administration stands up at lunchtime and you can go up to them and stuff. But you had to go up with somebody, so they know you're talking about what you're talking about. You couldn't, you know, it was like it's a penitentiary. This ain't no snitch fucking camp, you know, or a chomo camp. You know, they find that shit out, you're getting thrown off a fucking tier. Or I watched the guy get a mop ring, a fucking, you know the mop buffet machines?
Yeah.
Dropped right on his fucking head from the second fucking story, man. That was fucking really gross. But anyway, I go up to the warden, Warden Scott, never forget. And I says, hey, warden, I'd like to just say, you know, I'm new and the food could be better. The cook, he goes, really? He goes, hold on. Lieutenant. Lieutenant walks over, he goes, put him in a hole. What the fuck did I do? Off to the hole I go. I go to the hole, and my counsel, I'll never forget his name, to a guy named Farley. So Farley comes into the hole. He goes, Lawton, you're only here 2 weeks. What the fuck you doing in the hole? I said, I told the warden about it. He started laughing. He goes, you fucking idiot. You fucking, you know, like you fell for that stupid shit with the guys. He goes, all right, I'll get you out of here in about a week or two. Fucking week or two for fuck, what the fuck did I do? Just what I had to do, you know. It's just, you learn real quick that, you know, you're in a penitentiary, man. That you know that. It's a different animal than any other level of prison you've been in.
100%. I did the majority of my time in Oregon State Penitentiary. It's the oldest prison in Oregon. It's where they keep the lifers and the gang members, because apparently I can't keep myself out of trouble. So
sounds for me.
But I preferred that type of time over some of the other time that I did. Like, they sent me to a couple minimums, and I hated the lack of respect level. I hated the pettiness.
A minimum, they sent me to a medium, and I didn't last. I ended up attacking a unit manager.
When I graduated from prison, that's what I call paroling, is graduating. When I graduated under investigation for attempting to incite a riot at a minimum. It was one of the wildest things ever. And they told me, because I was getting out, and they're like, when you come back, you're going straight to the hole, and we're going to put you in the intensive management unit after that. You're going to have like a good solid 2-year run, and we will see you again, Delay. And I told him to eat a bag of funky discolored dicks. And that was 2010. I've not been back to prison. I came real close. We'll get into that when I'm on your channel. But,
absolutely.
I've come close a few times. So out of that 12 years, what would you say is the worst thing that you saw in prison?
Wow. I see some really bad shit. I guess a kid who got his anus cut from the top of his anus until his scrotum and seminal fluid was found. That was one of the worst. Excuse me. That was pretty bad shit, man. I remember those screams to this day. I remember a funny thing that happened. I was in the hole in Atlanta, and we're in what they call behind the glass. That means we were in the hole of the hole. So they had a hole, and I'm in the hole of the hole. Well, we hear now. We used to watch. Now in USP Atlanta, it had a lot of rodents, literally rats running. It was all. The prison was the oldest prison built. It was actually before Leavenworth. It was started being built in 1903. It was the most concrete poured in a prison. So we're in the prison, JD, and I'm behind the glass, which is a hole, and we hear a guy screaming, ah! And we get up and we see a fucking rat run out of his cell with his tail on fire and run into the pipe chase, which is right next to the unit. What the fuck was that? The next day, we're all out in this little area. Now we're all high security, dangerous inmates. We're not even allowed anywhere, even in general population or any population. So we're behind the glass in this other area. We find out the guy was sleeping and a rat was right near his face, and he hits the rat and it goes into a garbage pail. He takes a match and lights the garbage pail on fire because it was, it was like trash. You had matches back then, cigarettes. I'm talking 96 now. And the fucking rat jumped out of the fucking pail, and that's when he had his tail on fire, and he ran into the pop. That's what we saw. Did you know the prison gave him a shot for lighting his garbage pail on fire? And a shot means, a prison infraction.
Yeah.
So they gave him a shot for lighting his fucking garbage pail on fire.
That's crazy.
And they gave him another 28 days in the fucking shoot.
Oh, yeah, that's bad.
So I see some. Listen, I was in Atlanta when a guy went crazy. A guy named Ozzy, a friend of ours. He taped two fucking we call them swords. Literally, he had a sword. He put a sword in his hand, JD, and he taped it. Then he put the other sword in his hand. I don't know how he taped it. Now he's got two swords. He was going down the tier trying to stab everybody. Now he just got the fuck out of his way. He was crazy. He lost it. So he goes, now the guards are screaming, lockdown, lockdown. Everybody's got to lock down. Now we're looking out our window at the whole fucking fiasco. And he's got these two knives taped to his fucking hands, and they're screaming, drop the knife, drop the knife. What the fuck? How's he going to drop the knife? But they ended up getting him down, macing him, doing shit, and they got him down. Nobody got hurt. But he went crazy. So I've seen people go crazy. We're talking normal guys that you'd be talking to 2 days before, and they're logical. They're going to the law library. You meet them on the yard. You're hustling with them. Maybe doing drugs with them. Whatever the fuck you're doing. And they go crazy. I watch men take feces out of their ass and write demonic shit on the walls. I was in the worst prison when we were in Atlanta. Atlanta was the worst prison in the country. It was known. In fact, today, if you want to Google worst prison, it's the ADX Colorado. It's because everybody says, "Oh, I'd rather go to the feds than the state." No, not when it's maximum security. Yeah, you want to go to a camp or a fucking what do they call those things? Low camps. I never got to those. Yes, go there. I never been to one. I can't tell you. But you want to, because everybody in my prison was a mob boss, a fucking hitman, literally Colombian hitman. I was with Willie Falcone, who was the biggest drug dealer in the world, who worth $1 billion. Billion. He bought a Jura for $5 million. Great guy, don't get me wrong. My cellie killed a man with a fucking axe handle on a military base in Pensacola, Florida. Being it was a military base, it was a federal crime. But he was a good guy. I liked him. We got along. I know everybody always goes, Larry, you tell me he killed that, but he's a nice guy. Yeah, he was. To me, you know what I mean. See, I could talk to you about somebody from the penitentiary because yes, they could be a fucking vicious fucking nut, did something crazy, but he could be a good guy.
My first two cellies were both murderers. So my very first cellie, first day on a real yard, I'm at Snake River, which is the gladiator school in Oregon, and they put me in a cell. My cellie's not there. He's at work. I'm asking everybody, because I'm worried this is a chomo, right? And I'm like asking everybody, is my cellie a good dude? Please tell me my cellie's a good dude. And they're like, bro, you lucked out. He's a great dude. He's a cop killer. He killed 2 cops. So, you know what I'm saying?
Dude, I love it.
That's the attitude. That's the climate there.
Totally.
So he comes home, and he's this small dude. I'm picturing this monster. You know what I'm saying? I'm thinking tatted up head and monster. You know what I'm saying? He comes home, short dude, bald, super calm. I'm like, hey, what's up, man? Like, I heard you're down for killing cops. And he said, well, it was a vehicular thing, really, honestly. Like, it was an accident. I didn't mean to. I really feel bad about it, but they give me respect for it. So, like, I'm not going to not take the respect. I'm a little bit scared in here. Loved the guy. He was great. And my next cellie was down for killing his uncle because his uncle had been raping his little sister.
Oh, I'd kill him too.
He tried to go to the police about it, and the police weren't doing anything. Really small town in Oregon, right by where my parents live now. And so he took it into his own hands. He killed his uncle, cut him up, buried him in multiple spots. They gave him double life for it. He was 17 years old. And he was one of the kindest, most respectful people I've ever met. Also very small. Like, I'm twice this dude's size.
Well, you're twice most people's size.
It happens. It happens. First day, he looks at me and he goes, so how long do you got? 39 months. He said, okay, that's the last time you're ever going to talk about having an out date. I don't have one. I just wanted you to be able to get that out of the way. Then he tells me, cell rules. You sit down to pee in here. Yeah. And, you know, piss radius.
Listen, you know, man, you clean that fucking toilet. You fucking don't. You fucking fart or shit. You flush while you're doing it. You know the rule. I mean, you're paying attention.
Well, here's the thing. He's doing double life. I'm doing 39 months. I'm a tourist. I'm in your house.
Absolutely.
He lived in that cell for 7 years before I stepped foot in that. That's his house. I'm going to respect that man, you know?
You know, funny, JD, I was in prison. I was in Edgefield. And you know how it is in cells. You know, I used to fucking be very, and I still am, very clean. You know, so I had a kid come to prison, and he comes in, he's my cell. You know, in the penitentiaries in the feds, they don't just put somebody in your cell. When I went in, you had to go get your cell. So, you know, use a white guy, a Spanish guy, or whatever it is. You click up, whatever it is. So the kid gets in my cell, and he's doing good, and, you know, hey, you know, hey, OG, you know, you talking to me. So he shaves, and he leaves his fucking shavings in the sink. I said to him, hey, yo, kid, I eat out of this fucking sink. You fucking clean that sink when you're fucking done. You clean it. I live in this fucking house. Yeah, okay. He did it again. I took his head and I grabbed him by the hair and I smashed his face into a fucking concrete fucking wall, broke his nose, broke his fucking face, crusted, you know how the nose bleeds. I fucking slammed that motherfucker, boom. He goes down on the floor. The fucking CO comes up. He's shaking his head. The guy's on the floor now. And he goes, Lawton, back to the hall. I was in the hall a lot. I did 3 years in the fucking shoe. And he goes, Lawton, what the fuck? This motherfucker. So I go to the hall, lose my time. The worst time I did it, I think, you know, I mean, I did a lot of time in the hole because I fought the system. But one time I took a handicapped dude and I threw him down fucking stairs. And people go, what the fuck is wrong with you, Lawton? Well, you know, we had a guy. We had a tier. Now, they had a little, like, those federal system, they had a little elevator going, not elevator, you know, a little thing that can go to the second tier, right? So they had this dude who had a wheelchair, and he would roll over motherfuckers' feet. I said to him one day, yo, dude, I don't give a fuck what you're in. Don't fucking roll over my fucking feet. I don't give a shit. Yeah. Well, he rolled over my feet one day. I fucking threw him down a fucking flight of stairs. Down goes the fucking guy. Bam, bam, bam. His fucking wheelchair's flying down fucking with him. Fucking CO goes, Lawton, you know you're going in the hole. What? He goes, you just threw a cripple down a fucking. I said, fuck that motherfucker. He better learn respect. Respect is respect is respect. You know, listen to me, JD. Like you said, you were selling with two dudes. They're small little guys. Those motherfuckers will kill you as quick as your fucking head will spin. Trust me, you got a lot of time in prison. Nothing matters. I was in prison, JD, with 880 lifers. Lifers. We had 2,000 inmates. 880 had life. Never getting out, ever. And in the feds, life means you die. The only way you get out is in a fucking body bag. There's no parole. There's no fucking time. There's none of that shit. You're done. 880 had life. 200 fight their case legally. You know, in the law library every day, whatever. I beat my case. You know, I beat mine before trial, but mine was I beat it fighting it the law. I beat a 924C. 440, 480. They get a lover. They fucking go to Unicorn. They come home. They make dinner. I don't know what the fuck they do. They do their thing. 200 are fucking psychopaths. I tell people I don't ever want them to get out. I don't want them living next to you, my mom, or people. They're psychopaths. They really are psychopaths. And I've been around these kind of people. And I thought, you know, am I getting to be one of them? I remember, JD, I never thought I was getting out. I had so much, you know, I had 4 12-year sentences. You know, the first couple of years you're in prison, you don't even know you're in prison. You know what I mean? You're just adapting, man. I mean, when you got a lot of time. And I'm in maximum security prison because the feds didn't like me because I wouldn't tell. And you know how they play dirty. Every fucking system, they play dirty. They didn't give a fuck about Larry Lawton. I remember I was in Lewisburg, and I asked, you know, where am I going, man? You know, go up, because I didn't even know they could put me back on Con Air. I've been on there 16 times. Guy goes, oh, you're going to Atlanta. Who did you fuck with, Lawton? What do you mean? He goes, you're going to Atlanta. So what the fuck you talking about? Atlanta, it's the worst fucking prison in the system. I mean, you got to remember, I tell black friends of mine, hey, listen, you don't even know what it's like to be prejudiced. Fuck you, Lawton, man, you ain't black. I said, oh, yeah, I am. Then what do you mean? I go, you'll never be white. You know, what the fuck? I said, listen, I was in Atlanta when there were 15% white people. 15%. Counting the guards and everybody. So I know what it's like to be a minority. I said, you'll never know what it's like to be a white guy. You know what I mean? And they go, fuck, Lord, you're right. So I'm just like, I kind of get that experience of just, fuck, living life, JD, you know, and I respect everybody. I have zero prejudices in me. I really do. I don't look at things like that. I enjoy people. And I move on, man. Fuck it. If people don't like who I am, fuck it. I can't change the world, you know. But I will try to help people. I will try to, you know, that's why I developed the #1 program in the country to help people. And it's still used in court systems and everywhere. And I know you do stuff with people with addiction issues. Good for you, man. Whatever it takes, because you know as well as I do, big man, it helps you as well as it helps them.
100%.
Yeah.
So you had the mindset early in that you were never getting out, but towards getting out,
I don't know if it was early in, it was more towards the end.
More towards the end?
Yeah.
What was your mindset right before you got out? Did you have a plan formulated?
Absolutely not. I knew I did the law. You know, I got enough credits to have a law degree. I am a licensed paralegal. I have enough credits to be a law. I have to be actually to take the bar. I could take it. I just can't because I'm a convicted felon. But I was going to work for a couple of lawyers and do briefs and 2255, the different, you know, motions for the federal system. But I ended up getting out and I ended up helping people. And a guy said to me, he goes, listen, my son told me, fuck you, Dad, where have you ever been? I said, your son told you that? I'll talk to your kid. From there, I built my program and everything else. And that's the direction I went. And I think I was lucky in that regard because I always made money. Because you have to make money. Listen, I was a multi-millionaire, limousines, homes, boats. I don't need that shit anymore. Don't get me wrong, I like money. But I wish I could fucking make more money on Facebook.
So let me ask you a question about Facebook. How do you have all these huge platforms and you're not taking advantage of your monetization on Facebook? That seems weird.
JD, that's a great question.
You should get an assistant.
Listen, no, I'm gonna have to talk to my assistant Nick and my son Larry and my editor Darian, and we're gonna have to have a long talk. You know, JD, I love them. They're really good kids, young people. I work for. Everybody who works for me is very young, but they need a kick in the ass, and Facebook should be priority.
I don't think that most people who aren't actively putting out content professionally, like on social media, understand how much it is to balance all of these different platforms and mediums, and they all have different rules, they all have different thresholds for monetization, you know, and it's so easy to like let one slip. Like Instagram, I started an Instagram and I have done nothing with my Instagram. I'm the laziest Instagrammer ever.
JD, you make a great point, because first of all, you're a monster on TikTok. And you got great content, obviously, and I agree with you, just what you said. There's so much to it, and that is why I blew up very quickly. I love to help people, so I will come on. Listen, anybody who have a content, listen, I'm the worst at answering anything, because I don't even answer my fucking mother. I mean, I do. I try to answer her. But my point is, I love to help people, and I think that's why I do like the platforms we were on, because most people, I'm not going to say all, like to help each other, whether it's small or big or small. I mean, I've been on bigger shows than mine, and there's a kid named Kevin who I'm like his father now. He's got 5.6 million subscribers. He's called Expert Thief on GTA. And I become like his father. He calls me about issues with kids, and he's a young guy. He's 30 years old. He started Facebook. He started YouTube when it first started, when they were flying him all over the country during the Olympics and all that shit. And he's a great young guy, man. And I still talk to him. He's still a good kid, and he's helped me. And I've always connected with other influencers, and I've helped them, and they've helped me. And that's why I like to come with you guys. And you guys are up and coming. Both you and Ian are great guys. And you want to keep going. You're pushing. And you know more than me on stuff. And you know less than me on stuff, obviously. But that's how you get together. You start helping each other. Because, listen, you can't know it all. But you know what I appreciate with all of us is the grind. It is a grind. But it's a grind that we like it. I mean, I truly enjoyed coming to Ian Bick Studios and having fun doing food shows, hanging with you and just bullshitting, and we enjoy it. I really enjoy it, and I told Ian this. I enjoy the present. You know, I don't give a fuck about. I've been with celebrities. I've been with people. I don't give a fuck. I want to be here right now. There's no happier spot to be right now than sitting across from you, rapping about shit on your show. That's fun to me. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't give a fuck who's sitting out. Oh, Robert De Niro. Go fuck, blow me, Robert De Niro. I don't give a fuck about Robert De Niro. I mean, don't get me wrong. If I do a show, I treat people the way people treat me. And I think, at my age, listen, and to be honest with you, and this is not to be a morbid dude, I am 60, I'll be 62. I got 15, 18 years left to live. I mean, 80 years old is a long fucking age. I'm gone, JD. And don't get me wrong, you and Ian, the younger guys, and I hope you come to my funeral and say, man, Larry was a crazy dude, he was a good dude, and that's it. I mean, and I'm okay with it. I'm okay with everything because I'm in a happy place. I want to yell at Nick about Facebook. I want to yell at my son about Facebook. We'll have fun with it. And I think they'll do good because they want to do it. Nick, you know what Nick says to me now? Yeah, I don't know if you know about AI and all that kind of crap. He goes, Larry, when you die, I'm not telling anybody. He goes, I'm just going to have AI do some more videos and fucking you keep going. He really says that. You want to know what? It's close.
It is close. AI is terrifyingly close to being able to do that.
I think personally, JD, I think AI, and I've been on this, Chat GDP. I think this is the biggest innovation since the cell phone.
Oh, absolutely.
Because it totally encompasses so much. And it's not one thing. It really is big. And I think people don't get that. You
heard about the writers' strike in L.A. and that the producers have just told them, strike. We don't give a fuck. We're replacing you all with AI.
And you know what? They're not wrong. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's just another part of what's going on today. I know Nick and my editor. I'm loving it. Wow, look at these great things they're doing, JD. Look at these write-ups. And I'm thinking they're really working. They're fucking hitting a button. And I'm easy because if you type Larry Lawton in, a zillion things come up.
Absolutely.
So it's amazing, this shit. I mean, listen, and good for them. I'm not going to knock it. I don't want to fight it. Our way was the right way. No, it's not. The biggest thing I know about young people is they're smart. Whether it's the young, the Ians, and the Nicks, they're smart. And I got to respect that.
So it's funny to me because the exact same person that put me onto YouTube, I was just on TikTok and she added me, and she was a content creator that I had seen years before, and I'm like, this is raw and real. Like, this is brave that she's doing this. It was Jessica Kent.
Good friend of mine.
So I told her, she hit me up and told me I needed to start a YouTube. And I was like, if Jessica Kent says I should start a YouTube, I'm starting a YouTube. And she sort of coached me along the way. The same type of attitude.
I coached her.
Yeah, the same exact type of attitude that you have. And it just reflects that You helped her. She passes it along, and we're all a community. Especially in the prison community, it's so positive, and there's so many people helping each other. I think it's absolutely fantastic. But I told her I had a plan to meet you, and that I was going to send you a burner phone with a ransom note telling you to call, and only one number in it, and it was going to be my number. And she goes, that's a really good idea. That's super intriguing, but I'm just going to text Larry and tell him to hit you up. And I'm like,
and she did, and I called you.
Yeah,
she
absolutely.
told me that, or somebody, or I laughed. You know, let me tell you what happened. Jessica, when I blew up, and then Jessica had about 250,000 subscribers. Now, congratulations to Jess. She's got now 1 million subscribers. Jess has come a long way. Listen, I love Jess. She was following everything I do, and she kind of like got worried that I would say it. I said, no, do whatever the fuck. Come on, I will help you. If I'm doing it, it's working, do it. I don't give a shit. It's not plagiarism. Just do the fucking shit. Have fun, And she's a good kid. Jessica is a really good person. She's a good mom. She went through her shit. You know her well. Mm-hmm. And she said to me one day, she goes, hey, Larry, I was talking to her something because I call her on her cell, we connect, and I said, she says, this guy lives near you. His name's JD, and he's just starting YouTube, but he's a Twitter, a TikToker, and I don't even know what the fuck any of this shit is, really. I do, but I don't. And so I said, yeah. She goes, oh, he didn't know how to contact. I said, fucking, what's his number? I don't give a fuck. I think I text you at that point.
You did.
I said, hey, JD, Jessica said hello, and then you connected back, and we went back and forth. And that's rare because I am just so, listen, I don't even answer my own phone for my own people. I really don't. When I shut down, I fucking shut down. And that is why I got Nick. I mean, people know that, and Nick will come in, Larry, you really got to do it. And he even has to tell me 2 or 3 times because I don't give a fuck. And I enjoy what I do. And it's funny because Jess is a great girl. You and I become friends. We live only an hour and a half. You did promise you're coming on my shows and stuff. So we're going to have a lot of fun. You can come right down to where I live. So we're going to have a lot of fun.
I can't wait, man. I'm really, really looking forward to it. I have one more question for you because it's kind of something that's important to me. It's kind of part of my mission with every piece of content that I put out, with everything that I do as far as what I do in the community. If you could talk to someone who was heading down the same path that you went down right now, what would you say to that person?
Great question. Listen, it's very hard for me to tell a person who's never was a millionaire and had a limousine and all that shit like I did, oh, it's not about that. But it really isn't. Yes, we need money. Yes, we need to be satisfied. We need to, appease our own egos, all the shit that's normal shit. It's normal. Everybody tells you you don't have an ego and shit, then you're a liar. Because you better have an ego. I don't give a fuck who you are. That's what drives you. But I want people to think before they act. Because if you're doing something illegal, it will catch up with you. And I don't mean using. I don't mean doing bullshit. I mean selling, as you did.
Yep.
Doing the credit card frauds, doing the shit that you do. You were good at what you did, but you get caught. I was the biggest jewel robber in the country. I got caught. Everybody gets caught. I love people say, you're not good because you didn't get. No, yes, everybody gets caught. Depends on when, how you did it. Listen, we could take solace in the fact that everybody deserves a second chance. So, and I also want to let people know 2 things. No matter what you are, 3 people can keep a secret when 2 are dead. That means I can guarantee you, if you're fucking in crime right now with 2 other dudes, when one gets caught, you're all going to fucking jail. That shit, I'm staying strong. This is JD, you and I know how much bullshit that is. Don't get me wrong, it can happen, and it's rare. I was a rare breed when I went to prison. This is from the FBI. I went to prison in '96, and the FBI goes, man, you were the last of a dying breed. You just wouldn't do it. And I could have kept my money, millions of dollars. Had a 15-month-old baby, a 7-year-old son, and I still wouldn't rat. Just wasn't my game. And it's not, again, I used to hate them and did this. I'm no lover, that's for sure. But I can't fucking live my life hating and judging and everything. I can't do it. I'm not religious, you know that, but I can't hate, and it just kills me on the inside. And I don't want that to happen. And I never want that to happen. I just want to live a decent life and have fun and maybe change a few lives along the way. And I think if we can do that, we'll all be better off.
I think you're clearly doing a lot more than that already, man. I thank you for your time. Thank you for being here, Larry.
JD, man, you're a great guy. Just keep it up. Keep doing what you're doing. Knock it dead. I think what people don't understand is the grind, what we do. And you got it, man. And, you know, I'm going to be there wherever you go and step it away and keep doing what you're doing and changing lives as well. And thank you for having me on your show.
Thank you so much for being here. Everybody, I appreciate you riding out with us today, man. We had Larry Lawton, the legend, on here. Everybody, if you're not subscribed to Larry, I promise you, you're fucking up. Go check him out, give him a subscribe, and we'll be back at you with the next one, man. Till then, one love. Be good or be good at it, baby.